Get on board. You want to play football at a high level? What do you say after the game? You come to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome into TexAgs Rewind presented by Specs in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I'm David Nuno. I got my guys with me. Juan, what was your favorite part of the show?
Man, I gotta say, Olin this morning, he was so funny today. I loved it.
Yeah, so those who don't know, Olin dressed up as Stephen McGee, the CFL version of Stephen McGee with the big old castaway beard. So that was good to see. Nick, your favorite part?
Definitely had to be McGee and Swope together. I think having them in studio at the very end, they were getting me really fired up with talking about Coach Elko and the culture he's building.
Yep, my favorite part was probably Alyssa Lang. She's a South Carolina alum. She's at ESPN and SEC Network. Gave a lot of props to A&M. She's picking A&M in this game, and she had real unbiased thoughts. I thought she was fantastic. That and more at the fan show, guys, of course, on the Rewind.
In my mind, this is actually 1A, 1B, and 1C because I think it's that much of a race. But Cam Ward last week was very pedestrian. Completed 22 of 35 for 208 yards, no touchdowns against Florida State, who we all know is terrible. Mm-hmm. And I know it's kind of a rivalry situation, but I just think that the Heisman race is so tight right now that if you have a pedestrian game, you can fall back. That doesn't mean that if he has a big game in his next game that I wouldn't put him number one.
Right.
Or 1A. But right now, I'm going to put him as 1C on my list.
1C.
1C.
Okay, so let's go to number 1B.
1B, I'm going to put Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback at Oregon. Look, in two of his last three games, he's led Oregon to wins over number 4 Ohio State and number 24 Illinois. Now, was he great against Illinois? I wouldn't say great, but he was really, really good. He completed almost 70% of his passes for 291 yards. He had 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Again, this is a ranked opponent. So on the year still, I think he's 9th, maybe 8th or 9th in the nation in passing, 2,371 yards, 18 touchdown passes. And again, he's leading what is the number 1 ranked team in the country right now. So Cam Ward, without a doubt, he's a Heisman contender.
Yep. All right, let's do number 1, which has been number 1 now for a couple weeks, right?
Actually, on my mind, on my list, this is the first time he's been number 1.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because Cam Ward was number 1.
Right. And he did not have a spectacular game. He rushed for,
I called it, by the way.
He rushed for 128 yards.
And that's not a spectacular game.
For him, it's not. He actually averaged less than 4 yards a carry, 3.9.
I think for most of the season, he's averaged like 190 yards a game or something like that, something crazy.
Yeah, insane like that. It's over 190 or right around 190. But anyway, look, when your pedestrian game is 128 yards and a touchdown, I think that makes you a Heisman Trophy front runner.
I'm not comparing Lenore Sellers to that because I think he does struggle throwing some of the shorter passes. Mm-hmm. But he's fast, man. He's fast.
He can roll.
Yeah.
I'll take
Nussmeier, best quarterback we play all year.
I agree. I thought he was
not even
good.
close. Yeah. That dude's unbelievable.
That guy's
First
a
half,
good.
I was like, this is the best quarterback for sure.
I watched
him. Good quarterback.
I watched him make multiple throws from the left hash all the way across the field. First press man, our guy was draped on him, and he hit Lacey. Whoosh! Dude, those little fade balls he threw in the first half. Look, pressure. That's the key, though. I mean, pressure will make any quarterback fall. Tom Brady would, and we got after him in the second half, thank God. But and he came back down to earth, so to speak. He had a couple bad decisions, but you take those 2 off the board.
Dude, Lacey's ridiculous too.
He's so good. That dude's a freak, man.
Dude, one's good too, man.
One's
and
good.
86.
Yeah. They got dudes.
They got some players. LSU is a good football team. That was a huge win. I think we appreciate it now as Aggie fans, but South Carolina, completely different test going on the road. You got to travel. You got to handle the hype. Dude, it's hard winning. As a football coach, you got to grind your kids into saying, like, make sure that you humble them. Like, hey, that means nothing. That game means nothing. It is hard to overcome big wins like that. Yep. And that's going to be a big test of the maturity and the culture, which I've never been as big of a believer in Mike Elko.
That's incredible.
Dude, are you watching all these like halftime speeches and stuff?
Oh, I love it, dude. He's so point on.
In my former players tech, the old Bulls, like we're getting just yoked. Like we are.
If I'm a recruit, I want to go play for that guy right there.
This dude is
I want to play for Mike Elko, man.
God, he's
seriously.
Clip this for social. We need this.
Dude, this guy's the GOAT, man. He is. He's so elite, man. And there's substance, right? It's not just he's saying the right stuff, but he's doing the right stuff. And he leads with it
And
first.
he delivers.
He's the first guy in.
Yeah.
He said, follow me. I'll take you there. Get on board. You want to play football at a high level? What do you say after the game? You come to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
You guys are pumped up.
Hey, I can't wait. Mike
It's the Mike Elko
best.
effect, baby.
Sign me up for it, man. I can't wait.
Ashton Genty, running back for Boise State, quote unquote off game last week, 128 yards, a touchdown.
Called it.
Another one that came back. Yeah, David, you did call the less than on that one.
Did I?
That number was bigger last week. That was like 194. This one's 182.5 against San Diego State.
I'm going more. You can't just because that guy's that good.
I don't know anything about San Diego State's defense. Can you tell me something?
They've done better against the run than against the pass. Part of the caveat there is that they run really fast. They run that veer and shoot with Sean Lewis over there because he used to play at Kent State or coach at Kent State. He's the offensive coordinator at Colorado last year. So he kind of runs fast. So I think Boise State might get a lot of possessions. And San Diego State's also undefeated in conference right now. So Boise State does kind of need to show him who's boss.
Huh. So San Diego State must have picked up their everything non-conference. I'm still going to go more here.
Yeah, because San Diego State's 3-4, and they're undefeated.
They're like 2-0 in the Mountain West.
More than
Well, yeah, I'm at more. It's at Boise State. I like it.
Across the board, Moors.
Moore's across the board. I'm with you guys too. I already put that in a lineup this week. So let's talk about more running backs. And I put this one on here instead of Le'Veon Moss because I think it's a more interesting discussion. Amari Daniels, is he going to have more than or less than 41.5 rushing
What was
yards?
Le'Veon at?
Le'Veon is at 82.5.
Ooh, I do like this one. I'm going to go more. We need Amari, and Amari's been playing better every week, so I'm going more.
Let's see. Struggling with this one.
Really tough, yeah.
I'm going to go more than. I don't think it'll be significantly more than, but I'm going more than.
How much
Probably
does this
two
depend?
touchdowns.
How much does this depend too on the quarterback that's playing in this game?
That plays a role in it, but I'll also say this. If we know that passing on South Carolina is going to be tough, and the one part of their defense that hasn't been tested is their rush defense, I say they're going to run the ball down their throats. They're going to try at least run up the middle, and he's going to get some opportunities. So I'm going to go more than.
I'm going to go more than. He's busted this the last two games, so he's exceeded that against Mississippi State and LSU.
Yeah, I've got more. That's a low number for me.
In the Missouri game, he had 34 yards, but A&M passed the ball so well in that game.
He threw the ball over
and
the park in that one.
He only had 19 snaps in the Missouri game. It's been pretty consistent snap count from across the board. Bowling Green, he had 26 snaps. Arkansas, he had 25. Mississippi State, he had 27. LSU, he had 24. So I know he's been producing more, but I think the snap counts are kind of staying the same.
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like A&M and South Carolina fans are literally doing the Spider-Man meme right now. They're pointing at each other for how they feel about this game. I like A&M in this one, and I know I'm not supposed to say that, but with the broadcaster hat on, fan hat aside, I remember seeing that team up close week 2, coming off the Notre Dame game. It was McGee State, but still seeing what Coach Elko was building, talking to some of the players just about what their expectations were for the season, knowing how much talent they had then, and watching it only get better and better and better week after week after week. We say it all the time. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any. I don't think that's the case with Texas A&M. And I think that was proven against LSU. You mentioned the defense. South Carolina's defense, incredible. Up there with A&M, with Ole Miss as far as sack leaders in the country. But South Carolina's offensive line has also given up the second most sacks in FBS with just Oklahoma behind them. I think the number's at 32 at this point. When it comes to the SEC in these matchups, we talk about it till we're blue in the face. Trench play is the name of the game. If A&M and South Carolina are equal on the defensive front, I'm not sure that they're as equal on the offensive front. So that's where I give A&M a little bit of an edge, but I think it's going to be a defensive showdown. I'm not sure there's going to be a ton of points scored by anybody on Saturday in Columbia.
Well, one of the thoughts from an A&M perspective is, and Olin said it earlier in the show, is if A&M doesn't turn the ball over, A&M should win because that's how South Carolina sets up their offense is really with the short field.
When South Carolina fans this week have asked me, what is the formula for the Gamecocks to get a win? The defense scoring points off of turnovers is what I come to time after time after time. I had South Carolina's game at Oklahoma, started the game with a pick 6. Defense put 6 on the board for you immediately. They ended up scoring another touchdown. Tonka Hemingway, scoop and score. Now, Oklahoma's a very different offense than Texas A&M is, let's be honest. And Texas A&M has done a really good job as it relates to the Southeastern Conference and the numbers when it comes to protecting the football. But it's so funny. I go back to the Spider-Man meme. Whoever is at quarterback for Texas A&M, whoever has the football in their hands, hanging on to it. The same goes for Lenora Sellers and South Carolina on the other side. Lenora Sellers has been known to cough the football up a time or two. I go back to that Kentucky game. I think they put the ball on the ground 3 times.
Juanito, tell the people what to do.
Howdy, guys. What you're going to do is you're going to like, comment, subscribe, share, and, tell us your favorite part of the fan show. Yeah.
And you were telling me you have some friends that are at South Carolina that are super worried about A&M's defense the way we're worried about their defense?
Yeah, they're just as scared as we are.
Yeah. If you're worried about it, put it on the comments. If you're not worried about it, put it on the comments. Just comment. We'll see you next time.